Let's talk about something huge. I mean, imagine trying to build a healthcare system from the ground up. Not for a small town or even a small country, but for 1.4 billion people. That's not a thought experiment. It's exactly what's happening in India right now, and it's one of the most ambitious scientific projects on the entire planet. So let me ask you a question. Is the medicine you take actually made for you? It sounds simple, right? But the answer is, well, it's way more complicated than you might think. Because for most of us, the medicine we take, the health advice we get, it wasn't really designed with our unique biology in mind. You see, for decades, we've been working with this one-size-fits-all model of medicine. But here's the catch. The data behind it comes from a really narrow slice of the world's population, mostly people in the West. And that means treatments can be less effective or even have unexpected side effects for pretty much everyone else. The dream, the goal, is to get to what we call precision medicine, healthcare that's literally as unique as you are. And that gets us right to the heart of the issue, what you could call medicine's massive diversity problem. And there is probably no place on Earth where this problem is more obvious than in India. With its incredible genetic and cultural diversity, you just can't import medical models from the West and expect them to work. The risk factors for a heart attack, the things that trigger diabetes, they can be totally different. And that can lead to misdiagnoses and treatments that just don't do the job. So, you've got this enormous problem. How in the world do you even begin to solve it? Well, India's answer is a massive, coordinated, government-led effort to basically build a brand new blueprint for the entire nation's health. Okay, so how are they actually doing it? The whole strategy is built on 3 gigantic data gathering projects, and all of them are leading to a truly revolutionary new vision for health. The first step, the absolute foundation for everything else, is to understand the population's biological source code. This is the Genome India project. It's a huge consortium. We're talking about 20 leading institutions all working together. And their mission is to create the first ever comprehensive genetic map of India. They're collecting samples from over 83 different populations, from huge, bustling cities to the most remote tribal communities. And the scale here is just staggering. They have already sequenced the entire genome for 10,000 different people. Think about that for a second. That's 10,000 complete genetic instruction books, creating a reference data set for India's population that's never existed before. But look, this isn't just about collecting a ton of data. This raw data becomes an incredibly powerful tool. It creates a reference genome that everything else can be compared against. It establishes a national biobank for future research. And it helps pinpoint genetic risk factors that are unique to Indians, which ultimately makes it possible to develop affordable, tailored genetic tests. Okay, let's move on to the next piece of this puzzle, because having a genetic map is absolutely critical, but it doesn't tell the whole story, right? Our health is also shaped by how we live our lives. And that brings us to a new term you're going to hear a lot more, the phenome. Now, this isn't just your genes, it's everything you can observe about a person, their height, their blood pressure, what they eat. All of it is the result of that constant dance between your genetics and your environment. Here is a really simple way to think about it. Your genome, that's the recipe book you inherit. But your phenome, that's the finished meal, and it's shaped by the ingredients you choose to use and how you decide to cook. And that's exactly what Genome India is all about. It's this massive study tracking 10,000 people over many years, collecting super detailed data on their lifestyle and their health. The end goal? To build risk models for killer diseases like diabetes and heart disease that are actually calibrated for the Indian population. All right, the third pillar of this whole strategy zooms in on one of modern medicine's greatest, most complex challenges: cancer. This quote from an Indian oncologist really hits the nail on the head. You see, cancer isn't the same disease everywhere. The specific genetic mutations that drive it can be very different between populations. And that means a treatment that works wonders in one group might not work at all in another. So, to solve this, India launched the Bharat Cancer Genome Atlas. Its mission is to create India's own map of cancer genetics, tackling the critical fact that Indian patients have been almost invisible in global cancer studies for far too long. And the pathway from the lab to the patient's bedside is just so clear. They collect tumor samples from Indian patients, they sequence those cancer genomes to find unique mutations. Then, and this is key, they build an open access database so any researcher can use it. And that data can then guide more personalized treatments and even help develop new drugs for mutations that are common in India. Okay, so here's the real magic. These three incredible projects, Genome India, Phenome India, and the Cancer Atlas, they don't just exist in their own little bubbles. They're all designed to work together. And when they're all integrated, they become the engine for this new model of healthcare that people are calling 4P medicine. It's predictive, so we can see risks coming. It's preventive, so we can act before you get sick. It's personalized, tailored to your own biology. And it's participatory, making you a real partner in your own health. When you combine a person's genetic blueprint with their lifestyle data and a deep understanding of population-specific diseases, the benefits are just immense. We're talking about way more accurate risk prediction, treatments tailored right down to the specific drug dosage, smarter public health policies, and a genuine shot at reducing health inequalities. When you really boil it all down, this entire national strategy is about one fundamental shift in thinking. It's about moving away from a system that just reacts to sickness and moving toward one that proactively creates and manages wellness for everyone. You know, what's happening in India is a transformation with truly global implications. And as they build this new foundation for health, it really forces all of us to ask a pretty profound question. As we get better and better at reading our own biological source code, what is it actually going to mean to be healthy in the world of tomorrow?